Biodiversity comes in 3 levels: ecosystem, species, and genetic. Explains Luigi Guarino, senior scientist at the Global Crop Diversity Trust. The trust provides funding for important crop collections and oversees the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, what's popularly known as the Doomsday Seed Vault or Noah's Ark for seeds. The first time I met Luigi, I was researching the loss of diversity in seeds. He was smart, funny, and tough, reminding me, as he picked his teeth with my business card, that seeds are essential. "Seeds," he said almost dismissively, "are sex." "Indeed." I blushed, not because it was salacious, but because it was obvious. Luigi has dedicated his professional life to biodiversity and has, over the last few years, helped me understand, with a healthy dose of tough love, the stories of seeds and the intricacies of conservation. The broadest level of biodiversity is that of ecosystems. The communities of plants, animals, and all living creatures that interact with one another and their physical environment, such as a desert or a rainforest. The second level is species, defined as the largest group of individual organisms that can have sex and produce fertile offspring. Species exist within these ecosystems. The third level, genetic diversity, is measured in multiple ways and is tougher to discern. Genes are part of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, the chains of molecules that are the instruction manual for every cell in our body. Counting differences in the sequences of our DNA is the best way to identify genetic diversity, Luigi explains. But you can also count varieties or measure variations in size, shape, and structure, what are known as morphological differences. I was still unclear, so he elaborated. It's not a great comparison and probably politically incorrect, but think of how you would measure genetic diversity in 100 humans you picked off the street. DNA fingerprints, sure, but also how many races and ethnicities are represented in the sample. That would be the very rough equivalent of varietal diversity. Finally, how many eye colors are there, and what is the range of heights? That's morphological diversity. These influences are dynamic. They operate in response to one another and are constantly evolving. Agrobiodiversity shapes and is shaped by every meal we eat. And when I say we, I mean we in the global sense, for all of us. We're all in this together. No country is self-sustaining when it comes to the range of diversity needed to develop improved varieties of crops. We feed each other. The loss of agrobiodiversity, the reduction of the diversity that's woven into every single strand of the complex web that makes food and agriculture possible, has resulted in a food pyramid with a point as fine as Seattle's Space Needle, making it harder and less pleasurable for us to feed ourselves. I know it feels counterintuitive to contemplate loss, particularly against the backdrop of floor-to-ceiling aisles and supersized supermarkets. In a Walmart, the #1 grocery chain in America, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I counted 153 different flavors of ice cream and 8 different brands of yogurt. But then I looked further. The choices are superficial, primarily in flavor and secondarily in brand, most of which are owned by the same company. In addition, more than 90% of every container of yogurt, milk, and ice cream is made with milk from one breed of cow, the Holstein Friesian, known as the highest producing dairy animal in the world. I counted 21 kinds of potato chips, but in the produce aisle I found only 5 types of potatoes. Most of the bagged potatoes didn't include names, only colors: red, white, yellow, plus Idaho. The orange sweet potatoes were loose and stacked high. Now I understand why most of those chips I saw just listed potatoes as their primary ingredient. Despite being the top vegetable consumed in America, potatoes have been relegated to the background, the carrier for vinegar and salt, sour cream and chives. Bananas, America's most popular fruit, also carried only a single descriptor: banana. Although no variety was listed, I know it was the threatened Cavendish. There are over 1,000 varieties of bananas grown in the world. However, the one that ends up on supermarket shelves isn't the one that has the best texture or taste, but one that transports easily and has, so far, managed to